So we understood what is React framework and how we provide tools and thought action observation loop inside the prompt, right? And how to execute an agent. So we understood both tools and React framework, right? Now let's build one other use case. So that way you will understand these concepts better. So let me go here and then, so inside LangChain demo, let's create a new file. So instead of Jupyter notebook, let's try to create a Python file this time. So let me save this file. So let's save it as build agent LangChain 2. So we are trying to build. So let me add the same comment here as well. So we are trying to build the agentic AI application by using LangChain, right? So in our previous use case for the web search, we have used DuckDuckGo, right? So with the second use case, let's try to use serperdev. So let me take you there. So Serper is the world's fastest and cheapest Google search API. Experience unparalleled speed with our industry leading SERP API, delivering lightning fast Google search results in 1 to 2 seconds at an unbeatable price, right? So first get 2500 free queries, no credit card required. So we need the Serper API. So you can see this is a search tool, right? So we will be using serperdev tool as our search tool. So let me show you how to get the API key from Serper so we can use that in our code, right? So go to https serper.dev and then click on sign up to create an account. So you have to provide your first name, last name and email address, password and click on create account, right? So once you create an account, click on login. So serperdev allows you to start using their Google search API for free with a limited number of queries. And after the initial free credits are exhausted, then you need to purchase more credits to continue using the API. Okay, so this is pretty cheap. You can buy credits once you use your free credits. Okay, so click on login. So click on billing and add your payment details. I'm not showing this as it involves confidential information, right? So click on API keys and here click on create new key. And here you can provide any key name. So that way you'll be able to create the API key and then click on copy. So once you get the API key, click on your environment file and create Serper API key. You can give any name here. Give as Serper underscore API underscore key and provide your key over here. Okay. So now let's go back to our code. So in case if you haven't installed already, make sure you install LangChain and LangChain OpenAI. Okay, so those are the required packages like how we have seen before. And the next thing is we have to import the required libraries, right? So from these packages, so we are importing OpenAI and OS module and chat OpenAI, right? So this is from LangChain OpenAI and load underscore tools. This is from LangChain community agent underscore toolkits load tools, right? And create React agent and agent executor from LangChain classic agents and prompt template from LangChain core prompts and load.env. So you know this is to load the environment file, right? So the next step is to load the environment variables from this environment file and read the API keys, right? So let's try to do that step. So we are using load underscore .env function, right? So by using this, you can see here parse a .env file and then load all the variables found as environment variables. So inside our .env file, we stored our OpenAI API key as well as Serper API key, right? So we are trying to read those two keys and trying to store them inside these environment variables. Okay. The next step is let's try to initialize the LLM. So here we are using chat OpenAI, right? So this is the class. So we are trying to create the instance for this. So this chat OpenAI, this class is from LangChain OpenAI, right? So from this package we imported this and then we are trying to initialize the LLM by creating an instance for this and we are passing these attributes, right? So These are all the attributes that are available inside this class, and for this we are passing the model name. Again, we are using GPT 3.5 turbo model, and the temperature is equal to 0, right? So we initialized our LLM. And the next step is, we have to define the tools and then prompt and create an agent, right? So for example, let's say, assume this is our task. So what we want our agent to do: list top 3 Medicare providers in the United States. Also assume a 50-day joint replacement program for a patient costs were hospital $21,500, post-acute care $8,400, readmission $3,200, target price was $31,000. Are we above or below target, right? So this is what we want our agent to calculate. So first thing is, list the top 3 Medicare providers in the United States, right? So to execute this task, the agent need access to tools, right? So for this, it will be doing the web search. So in order to do the web search, we are providing access to serperdev, and then to do this math calculation, we have to provide LLM math tool. Okay, so we will be providing those two tools. So to execute this task, let's define the tools. So we are using this load underscore tools. This function is imported from this package, right? We are passing one tool as Google Serper and the second one is LLM math tool. The first one is to execute this task, and the second LLM math tool is to execute this task, right? So far we installed the required packages, and then we imported the modules, and then we read the API keys, and then we stored inside our environment variables, and then we initialized our LLM, and then we defined the tools. Okay. Now the next thing is, let's try to define the prompt. So here we are trying to create the prompt, right? So similar to how we have defined before, thought, action and observation, and here we have to pass the input. The input is this task, right? So whatever the task you want our agent to execute, so provide that. This is a variable, we will be passing that, and then this is the prompt template, right? So we initialized this prompt template which we imported from LangChain core prompts. Okay, so for this class, inside this we have these attributes, and we are passing for the template whatever the template that we created, right? So the ReAct template, and then for the input variables we are passing tools, okay, and the input, that is the question and the agent scratchpad, right? So let me save this here. So far we have initialized our LLM, that is OpenAI LLM. We defined the tools, and then we defined the prompt, and here we define the prompt template, right? And the next step is, let's try to initialize the agent. Okay, so we are using create underscore react underscore agent function. This one again we imported from LangChain classic agents, right? So we are using that function, and we are assigning these values: LLM, which we have initialized here, chat OpenAI, and then tools, whatever the tools that we have defined here, and then prompt. Okay, so we need to set these three parameters: LLM, tools and prompt, and then agent executor. So here we are initializing this agent executor, which is again imported from LangChain classic agents, right? So for the agent we are assigning the agent that we just initialized, and for the tools we are assigning the tools verbose is equal to true and handle parsing errors is equal to true. So we can see the complete execution log. So with this we initialize the agent. Now let's try to invoke the agent by using the invoke function, right? So inside agent executor, inside this class we have a function called invoke. So we are invoking this function to invoke the agent, right? So we are passing the input. What is the task that we want our agent to do? So this is the task. We are assigning that to this input variable, and we are trying to print the result. Okay. So now let's try to run this code and see if this works. So we are trying to run this code, build underscore agent underscore langchain2.py, right? So you can see the execution log here, entering new agent executor chain, and you can see the thought action observation, right? And you can see the thought, I need to find the top 3 Medicare providers in the United States and then calculate the cost, right? So the action is it is trying to use Google Serper. So that means it is trying to use the tools. In order to perform the action, it is using the serperdev tool, and the action input is this one, top Medicare providers in the United States. Okay, so this is what it is trying to figure out. Best Medicare companies in 2026, best Medicare Advantage plans, right? So you can see United Healthcare, Humana, Aetna, CVS Health, BCBS, right? So it is trying to find all the top Medicare providers, and then in order to calculate the cost of the joint replacement program, it is using the calculator tool, right? Again, to perform the action, it is using the tool, and then the action input is whatever the values we have provided here, right? So if you see in our question, we are giving for hospital 21,500, for post acute care 8,400, right? So we have given bunch of values here. So it is trying to add these three values, and the target price is 31,000, right? So the total cost of the joint replacement program is 33,100. If you calculate these three, we are getting 33,100. So this value is above the target price, which is 31,000, right? So the final answer is we are above the target price. Okay. So what we understood here, agents are essentially LLMs equipped with tools. So agents are built on top of ReAct framework, right? So this thought action observation loop. Okay. So that is, we have a thought and we go into the action and then we see the observation, right? So in the action, agents have access to tools, right? So here serperdev tool and the calculator tool. So by using these tools, agents will perform the action. All right. So with this, we understood how to create an agent and how to execute different tasks by using this LangChain framework. All right. Thank you.